I know that I am a little bit late to the party on this, and I also know that I don't do these very often, but I will be doing some more of these in the future, especially here on the Claymore channel, because film is still very, very much a part of our culture. And outside the occasional video where I've said that no, James Bond should not be a daggone woman, of course, I've still got that video up if you guys want to check it out. I typically tend to stay away from Hollywood itself. I try to keep things within the real world, but of course I'm going to be expanding things because Hollywood is also still part of our culture. And even though it's gotten as bad as it is, every now and again you do get a gem. And of course that gem was Top Gun Maverick, Top Gun 2, which by the way was very, very good. I say very, very because it was actually pretty daggone good. If you hadn't actually seen it, I highly advise you go do it while it's still in the theaters. Of course, when it hits streaming, it's more than likely we'll go to Paramount Plus first, which means you got to pay $10 a month. And it was actually a very, very enjoying experience. Now, guys, in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you why it is that the left has chosen to attack this film, and then I'm going to explain why they're doing it and why it is the way they are, like always. And I'm also going to give a bit of a review, so make sure you guys stick around for the full video. By the way, the video, is going to be spoiler free because I don't want anybody who's clicking on this video who has not seen the movie yet to have the ending spoiled. But I'm going to give you guys a bit of review on that. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get this out of the way. So you see The Guardian and you see other news outlets attacking the film. Well, the real reason why is because the movie, for the most part, was full of masculinity. Quote unquote toxic masculinity. Which, by the way, toxic masculinity has been defending this country since 1776. Toxic masculinity is why your life is so good right now, even in this bad economy. For the most part, we're still mostly a free nation. Of course, our freedoms are under attack, but it's that toxic masculinity that gave us the freedoms that we enjoy. Also, something else too, it was also very, very patriotic, and it was actually very, very much on the anti-woke spectrum. They have one female pilot in there, but they didn't really prop her up. It's actually a very, very well-written character, and they didn't try to empower her and turn her into a bit of a Mary Sue. Now, of course, other content creators talk about Mary Sues all the time, like Rey from Star Wars. But this character was not like this at all, okay? And it actually had a very, very good story. The main thing about masculinity, and I want you guys to think about something really quick. They attacked Rambo Last Blood. Now, Rambo Last Blood got a lot of negative reviews, even from Rambo fans. Me personally, I loved Rambo Last Blood because deep down inside, I would kind of like to, when I get big and I get rich off of YouTube, what I'd like to do is buy a house out in the middle of nowhere with a very, very big yard, have like a garden, have like a fort set up and an actual tunnel system like Rambo had. Yeah, guys, I'm that crazy. I'd kind of like to have that right there. So I need you guys to hit that like button and get these videos up in the algorithm so that way I can actually do that. And do those videos, by the way, from the bunkers themselves. But back on topic, and yes, I had to script all this out. The thing about it is this right here, and of course, Tom got some flack from China because there's a scene in the movie where he puts his coat on and it's got the Taiwan flag in the back. Now, Tom Cruise basically put his foot down and said, no, we're not going to be changing anything there. By the way, I did make a video on Tom Cruise's COVID freak out, his Karen moment, which, by the way, I'll be making a bit of an addendum to in this video towards the end of it. But the thing is this right here, they don't like anything that's nostalgic, anything that brings up the American spirit. Now, when I first saw the original Top Gun, I was 3 years old. It was one of my favorite movies as a kid, one of the very first movies I had as a kid. And of course, there are oftentimes certain actors from certain movies you have a bit of an attachment to. Top Gun, of course, Tom Cruise. My parents put me in front of Star Wars. I had a bit of an attachment and a bit of an early childhood love for Harrison Ford. I loved Indiana Jones, of course. Also, something else too, my father used to watch a lot of Clint Eastwood westerns, so I had a bit of an affinity for Clint Eastwood as well, one of my favorite actors. Of course, as you grow up, you get older, you grow out of things, and you also, you eventually learn to respect film, which, by the way, film is an art that we have really and truly lost because of all the rampant wokeness. But the thing is this right here, this was a film where nostalgia was done correctly, and I think that's the real reason why the left hated this film. Right now, there's even a lawsuit saying that Paramount does not even have the copyrights. I'll leave the article in the description box. I came across it and briefly glanced at it. I could have got something wrong there, but I'll leave the article in the description box for you guys. But the thing is this right here. One of the things that was great about this film is that it just did not feel fake. It was practical effects. There was no CGI. They actually allowed Tom Cruise to be short. People don't know this, but Tom Cruise is only like 5'5", 5'6". His wiki says 5'7", but you can look at him and tell he ain't like 5'5", 5'4" in real life. Okay. In other movies, they'll prop him up. Like for example, in the movie Valkyrie, he was standing up. Of course, Klaus von Stauffenberg, the character he was playing, real life, actual German hero who tried to take down Adolf Hitler. Klaus von Stauffenberg was like 6'3", 6'4". He was actually a very, very big man. And of course, the camera angles and everything they did was designed to make Tom look 6'3", when of course he's only about 5'5". I mean, come on now. But they actually allowed him to be short, and there's even a scene in the movie where he's actually, quite frankly, he's a little bit meek. I think it's right towards the end of the movie where he actually looks kind of small, standing in front of his commanding officer, and he looks like he's definitely gotten old. Which, by the way, is really kind of what he is in this movie. He is an old pilot who's basically disappearing, and the Navy has no more use for him. Then finally something comes up, and they need him to basically train their pilots. Of course, the dynamic between him and Goose's son Rooster was perfect. The characters were very, very well written. Iceman does come is in this movie for a little bit. And yeah, I got it's one little moth right in front of me. But yes, the characters were written very, very well. Also, something else too. Jennifer Connelly, yeah, I had a bit of a childhood crush on Jennifer Connelly. She's in the film. She was very, very good. If you know the original film, it won't take you long to figure out halfway through the film who she is. Okay, it won't take you that long to figure out. Of course, they originally wanted Kelly McGillis to come back and play the love interest, but eventually she just kind of like backed out of it. But the thing that stood out was this right here. This right here is the real thing to me that I felt actually did it in for the left on this one right here. There is a scene in the film where Tom is standing in front of his commanding officer, who is played by John Hamm. And he's, Maverick is pretty much, getting chewed out. And he responds to him saying, yes, they're the best pilots in the world, but they've been told they're the best pilots in the world. They've been told their entire careers, meanwhile dropping bombs from 8 miles up in the air. Basically, what Tom was trying to say is that telling people that they're good at something when they've never actually been tested is not a good idea. As a matter of fact, it's kind of sort of created a bit of a problem in this society. Now, guys, I don't know Tom Cruise's personal politics. This is where I'm going to end the video at. Tom, I know for sure, is anti-drug. And by the way, I'm not going to go after him for his politics or anything anyways, okay? This is, like I said, I don't like to go after people of their personal opinions, especially in Hollywood. I don't like to try to make everything political when it comes to films. I mean, I know this channel, for the most part, will harp on politics from time to time, but I try not to do this. I do know that Tom has never really truly gotten much into that aspect, and I know he's very much anti-drug. I also know he's a Scientologist, which I'm not going to get into because I don't go after other people's religions, okay? I'm Christian. I don't want people going after me, and I'm not going to be going after him or anything like that. But something else, too, that's got to be said is, and I got to make this a little bit of addendum, it turns out that Tom Cruise's little Karen freak out that he had on the set of Mission Impossible, the last one that they're actually filming right now, is supposed to come out next year. It come to find out that what he was really screaming about was not the fact that people weren't wearing their mask and abiding by COVID conditions. He was kind of pissed off with the whole thing, the masks, the regulations, the studio forcing them to implement this stuff, and he didn't want people to lose their jobs, okay? So I'm making a bit of an addendum. I think I might have taken that video down, but I just want to go ahead and kind of just throw that out there anyways. All in all, Top Gun Maverick 2 was a pretty good film. I actually went and saw it I think it was, I went and saw it on May the 28th, and I went back and saw it again this past weekend because the first time I saw it, the experience really wasn't that great. It took about 30 minutes for people to actually get quiet and for me to actually be able to watch the film and enjoy it. The last time I went, the situation was perfect, it was pristine. But I would definitely highly advise you guys go watch it. You guys will figure out very, very quickly into the film why it was that left-wingers are bashing it and they hate it so much. I mean, the audience score is like 100, and I think it's already grossed like over $250 to $300 million already in its first 2 full weeks. So, guys, I highly advise it. Now, guys, on the Claymore channel from time to time, this won't be all the time, but every now and again you will get a bit of a movie review out of me because I will be taking on stuff like themes and characters on separate channels, which, by the way, will extend from this one right here. Now, guys, before I end this video, I do want to let you guys know that I did a video on this gun control thing, which, by the way, will be out tomorrow to go along with this one here. There will be an updates video on Thursday, and there will also be my video on school shooters and why school shooters are becoming more and more prevalent. That video will be out on Thursday or Friday, and it will more than likely be on both channels. Guys, John Claymore here. If you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign up in the comment section, and I'll see you guys later.